Well, I just want to say Jeremy, what shared, it's just like out of my now what I'm going to share. I just feel like I'm so outdated, and actually I am, like all this technology I am still trying to use talking in my classroom. Discussions are a big part that I do like to my students to talk among each other and to talk to me, because I know Daniel said you guys do not use cell phones in the classroom, and I think that's amazing. We are not able to do that. It's up to the teachers, and then the students do not know can they use or they cannot. So I kind of allow them, but I guess once they get on the phone, they just get disconnected. And I feel that technology is a great tool, but if we use it wisely, it's my opinion. So what I found is that the website called CK12, and it is for us teachers. I don't know if you already looked up to that. It's just like the website with lots of resources, because like during my high school, it was completely different. And now we still have a teacher who stands on the board and they talk, and that's it. And while I was reading the book curriculum, it was mentioned about the web, that we talk to the other teachers around the world, and that's what I do in my back home. And just to compare the experiences, it's like we here are on completely another level, and we are still kind of improving and adding technology in all that we do in our classes. We use Canvas in our schools, so that's the platform that we use for grading and actually to put the assignments on. I did use Kahoot. I used I don't know, Facebook group, business educators, great resources. Many teachers post that there. So if you need something that you assignment, or somebody, you have a question that somebody can answer, it's a great tool. I did use Teachers Pay Teachers. I have to admit that as well. It's just so I kind of get an idea how to do my classroom. So CK12 is based lessons based on the subject. You can choose the grade level, you can choose the subject that you are teaching, and they have the lessons on there. So for me, this is my third year teaching. I'm still kind of learning and catching up, because the technology is improving and we are using here so much that I need time to catch up with some things. So this website, I found out, for me, it's a great tool to get some resources, to get the information that I'm going to present to my students. So I also look for the 360 videos on YouTube, and the last one was from Montenegro, which is the country next to mine. So it was very cool to see how that everything went, like how they recorded. So as I said, I'm catching up with the technology. I'm kind of learning, I'm using, but I kind of use it like not a lot. Even my children, I do not let them use the technology as much as they should be, but I think there is a time for this and they're going to learn. So
you said yours was called CK12, correct?
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just like a big area for you to find multiple different resources.
Yes, you can go with the website, and they have, it's a free website, many different, and the thing is that it can be linked with Canvas. I don't know if you're using Canvas in your school, but I do. So it can be linked with the Canvas, and then it can do the grading for you as well. So it is something that will help me, like with the lessons and also with the grading. It's going to speed up the process, and we know that we never have enough time as a teachers.
So I do have a quick question for you. I saw the CK12. I tried to set something up, but it looked like it was geared primarily to math, science, and English.
Well, I did find economics as well over there. They are kind
I
of.
found the economics class, but I couldn't find a way to link it to actually create assignments, like something they already had.
Well, I did not. I will say CK12. I did not do the research. I saw they have the economics, and I saw that they work with Canvas. So that's what I do. But I did not make the account. Where is my Zoom right now? I did not make the account and do the deep research, I have to admit.
Okay.
Is there a subscription or a fee to use this site and the resources,
No,
or is this readily available?
It's free. Yes, it's free.
Okay, nice.
And then you can choose if you're going to be the student or the teacher, which is cool. So then as a teacher, you will have the different not subjects, but the material that you can use.
Mhm.
I was gonna say one thing I really did enjoy about, because I know I saw the econ section on there, is they've got a textbook that you can look at free of charge. It's got the full text, so it's haven't seen how dated or out of date or accurate it is.
They also
But
have their
I've-
own textbooks as well that you
I was
can.
gonna say I got to imagine it's probably more up to date than the textbooks that I managed to acquire when I was hired on, because they seem like they're from probably mid 2000s. So it
Yeah,
might be
I
worthwhile
understand what you
looking at.
mean there.
Yeah, my textbook in my classroom for computer apps is probably 2005, which is older than all of my students. So
Wow.
I could-
I used 2016.
My computer stuff still has stuff from I honestly think it says Microsoft Office 2000.
oh my gosh.
So some of the older stuff, it's outdated, but there's still packets from 2000 and then maybe one from 96.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
That's frustrating because, well, even in my finance books, there'll be things that are, and I'll just have to point this out. It's like, well, guys, you know, our world has kind of changed a little bit since this statement, but, and then you kind of got to work around that because that's, yeah, it's. I wish we could update material a little more often than we do, but
Something I thought about with the last assignment was trying to implement some kind of either a weekly or every couple weeks, maybe spending 10 minutes looking for news stories the students find interesting. That way we could keep those resources as far as maybe mapping it or keeping it for curriculum. And then the next year when it comes around, go, hey, last year the kids love this. And it's a story that I got to use that wasn't intended this way, but because I'm also a bus driver on the side for the district, the question came about driving buses and whatnot. And there was a story that came out last year about a Massachusetts school that was short on bus drivers, so they had to hire a adult entertainment bus with pole and neon lighting to transport the kids to a function. And that got their attention and I swear when they walked out, they remembered stripper pole, neon lights, Massachusetts, and then they were actually going for and so we got to have that conversation, but it drew them in because like, what? How do we get this bus? I was like, no, we're not going to take this bus. But I mean, it brought them into the conversation so much that it was at least aha moment, not like back in 1932 or back when George Bush the first was in, who dat? So
That's
it
what
was
I
a
do.
little better to bring him in.
That's what I do in my sports marketing class. Like every class, at the beginning of the class, they have 5 to 10 minutes to research the news that happens in the sport, and then we discuss as a class. So right now we have US Open, so they're going to find the stories, what is happening, or in NBA. So they pick a sport they like, and then they read, then we discuss, and they have to post in Canvas in discussion boards. So this is something that we do daily, so they kind of get to know what is happening in the world on the daily basis, at least in sports. So
it's a great idea.
mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to steal that idea. We have interest-based groups starting next week, and mine's all things sports. So kids are going to come in, we're going to talk about whatever they want to talk about sports, but that's a good way to incorporate reading and writing into the club, to kind of get them to
we do use technology like in the classroom, but right now this year I feel like we are backing off because the research says when you write you are going like kind of the learn and remember better, and many different muscles are using. So we are using the technology, but they are kind of telling us to make students write on paper as well.
Well, there's data out there that if you write it, you have a higher recognition or recollection background. But I mean, obviously, whether it comes from a guy, I believe, is you're tying in different areas of the brain, so you're not mapping out just to this one spot. Now you've got this piece and this piece and this piece, so you're more likely to retain it in some manner, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely a spot for technology, and that they'll be typing it, writing it, or getting the different parts of the brain engaged. It's challenging but good.
Yes.
Well, good. Does anyone else have any questions about anyone's technology?
I believe I do.
I don't think so.
Well, good. Well, thank you guys for getting on and
Thank
sharing
you.
everything. I felt like I got a little bit from everyone. I think Jeremy
He
most
did.
all was.
I was like, oh.
I'm a nerd.
I
I liked, I mean, like I said, my staff here, we're basically like, we're so small, you have to try and actually fight to get students to come to your class. If you want to keep having a job and having programs, you have to try and attract them.
Right.
And not necessarily the wow factor, but to some degree, the wow factor of this is something totally different. As weird as it sounds, what you can't see behind me is a little closet niche I built this summer for my classroom to rearrange it after my first year. And I've had, I don't know how many students walk in and either question me going, how did you knock a hole in the wall, Hansford? I didn't put a hole in the wall. No, if I did, there'd be a window right there and there's no. But they're like, this is the coolest room. I'm like, I just built literally a giant TV stand and framed it in the corner and bookended it with actual bookshelves. And something as simple as that was bringing attention. You go, I need to come back to your class. But I was trying to find a way to get them in. And technology obviously is a fun way. And part of the problem I have though is because I'm getting older, and I hate to admit that, but Kobe, you're a lot younger than me. You could probably be my son.
The youngest.
But I'm at the point growing up, like, laser sounds cool. Well, we got a laser etcher for our FBLA club. And they don't care. It's not interesting when they hear laser. Ooh, who cares?
So
So
students are choosing your class, right? They have the ability to choose the classes where they are going.
Yes,
to, right?
the middle school computer classes are required, but all the high schools are elective. So if they choose not to have it, I could have no hours as far as no students because nobody wants to sign up for it.
But in order to graduate, do they need to have a business classes?
Not necessarily.
Really? Okay.
They have to have an
That's the
economy
same
class,
ours,
but it
too.
doesn't have to go through the business side. There's actually the government side offers economy also, or economics.
For us, they are required to take 2 business classes in order to graduate. So
Wow.
yeah.
I'm in a similar boat. I've tried to push to make some of my courses required, but no such luck, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's true. I mean, you almost have to fight for interest in your classes. I have a class right now this year that's I only have 2 students, and I'm worried that if that trend continues, I'm worried they might look at me and think, do we really need this person here full time? Maybe we reduce them to half time or not have him at all. That's what it makes you wonder.
I had a class of 2 drop to a class of 1.
Mm-hmm.
I never had a class of at least.
That's because your school's too big.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah, the bigger schools helps. Yeah. My class is required for all 7th graders, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But if I do change to a high school setting, which I want to eventually, I have heard of a lot of those kind of concerns. And the required class thing is up to the district. I have heard of that. The one I think that should always be required is a personal finance or business essentials class. You would think every senior would have to take that, but some districts will fight that they do not believe that seniors should have to take that.
Our district has had that conversation and they know there's a necessity for it, but they don't want to. They have students that are so diversified. They want this, they want that to be able to graduate under a different pathway, that they've actually got that piece of it mixed into a required class. So it's not even a full semester. It's just snippets within the class to address the standards.
Mm-hmm.
That way they can say they've received information for it to meet that standard, but they're not getting any depth of information to actually retain it. It's just like a sidebar conversation. Oh, and this is how this ties into personal finance.
Right.
Or, oh, and make sure you save money because someday you'll need it. So unfortunately, I'm right there saying, I think we need a personal finance or some kind of life skills class to plan for activities,
Both.
rent, savings, all those fun things. But
Well, I
districts.
mean, you see people on social media all the time. They complain about, well, why don't we have a class where we would teach our kids how to save, how to invest, how to the proper functions of a bank, so on, so on, so on. And I'm like, well, we offer those classes, and I have 2 students this year. So
Yep.
there you go.
And flip side is they prioritize something else as more important. They
Exactly.
may say, I want to be a welder when I grow up, so I'm gonna have to take ag this, welding that. I'm gonna be a rancher, so I'm gonna go do this. They don't see the merit in it, even though there's definitely a lot of merit.
Right.
Okay, guys, I need to go. Nice to meet you. Jeremy, good luck with your idea. I hope you make it.
I don't know it'll show up, but it's definitely an idea for the future.
I will do my
I'm
best,
eager to
guys.
hear more about that, actually. But yeah,
Bye.
have a good.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
So, yeah, the projection table I looked at, the story from 2019 put the cost at one table at $90,000.
Wow.
So I don't know that the district, at least not my district,